Hello community! Welcome today to a special edition user feedback. Now, in one of my last videos I was talking about beyond vector databases, and I got quite a lot of response from you, and there's a particular comment I would like to focus on. So, the question or the comment was, what if GPT-4 does not have the specific domain knowledge that is represented by all of those documents that I mentioned in the video when I was talking about my particle physics papers, hundreds and thousands of papers. And the viewer asked, you would need to upload all of them into GPT-4, which would be expensive, and hope that its representation match your own system's tokenized representation. Now, I think it is a highly interesting question, so let's focus to find an answer and try to explain what went wrong here with this chain of thought. Now, at first, GPT-4. For me personally, GPT-4 is a black box. So you might ask why? Because I do not understand how an answer is generated that I have, for example, only a one-shot prompt. And given that with a one-shot prompt, we can't alter the weights of the system, so we have no fine-tunability at all. But we know that the system can learn to a certain extent when we provide within our GPT-4 prompt or ChatGPT prompt examples. One-shot prompt, few-shot prompting, the system can learn. If you ask me, tell me the mathematical theory exactly how this happens within GPT-4. I can't, because for me it is a black box. I can't also explain how GPT-4 learns from in-context examples if you have few-shot prompts, if you give multiple examples, 3, 4 examples. How can the system learn just without altering any weights? There are some preprints that indicate, yeah, it is a system of the activations that form a model within the model. But I haven't seen any clear, plausible mathematical deduction, a theory. I can't explain this to you. And this is why I think it is so important to understand what we can understand. So what I know about GPT-4 is GPT-4 and ChatGPT is based purely on probabilities. This means I have no reproducible results. Whenever I ask the system a question, I will get a different answer. Why? Because it is based on probabilities. There is no ground truth. Probabilities mean it can be altered and I don't even know when it will be altered. So, try it out yourself, ask the same question, different system, different time of dates, different session. You will get different results. So, this is what we know. And then a lot of my viewers ask questions about vector database, vector store, Postgres, cognitive search if you work on Azure. How this is connected to this black box. And this is exactly the background to the question of the viewer. So, let's have a look at this. What if GPT-4 does not have the specific domain knowledge of my specific prompt query? And I think, yeah, absolutely. Let's assume this. GPT-4 has not been pre-trained and fine-tuned on a particular dataset like my enterprise document or my preprint published yesterday on a archive preprint server for particle physics. There's no chance in the world that GPT-4 has been pre-trained or fine-tuned on this data from yesterday. So how do I provide new data to GPT-4? Now, the second part of his question is, his or her, I don't know, question is, you would need to upload all of the particle physics paper into GPT-4. Now, I cannot fine-tune GPT-4. No way at all. I have no access to fine-tune GPT-4. So, upload all of them into GPT-4 and hope its representation. So I think you are talking about a vector representation of all of the sentence in all of the documents. Match your own system's tokenized representation. So there's a lot of problems going on. So let's try to understand and try to find a solution. So at first, to make it simple, let us assume there's only one paper on particle physics, one document. So instead of hundreds paper of particle physics, we just go one, easiest part. Now, let us create a dummy document for this experiment, because I want that this is really a synthetic example. There's no pre-trained knowledge within GPT-4. So you have here an insurance plan, absolute synthetic fictitious company, was just invented by GPT 3.5 Turbo. This is your document. Beautiful. It's just a dummy document. It just has 578 words and more than 4,000 characters. This is all we need to know. And now comes the part where I say, okay, and now in this document, I put one specific sentence, I indicate this in red, that is an answer to a question I'm going to use ChatGPT or GPT-4 on this document. And then we will see to what extent we have to encode this document. So let's do this. Very easy. We make 4 experiments. We do it live. You can watch it in real time. So I will ask ChatGPT a specific question. It will always be the same specific question. Then, second experiment, I provide the document plan eyes. This is exactly here referred to as plan eyes. This document completely, this one, I will provide in the prompt as a one-shot prompt to ChatGPT and ask a specific question. It is the same question as before. That is not included in the pre-trained and fine-tuned GPT-4 dataset and not in Plan Eyes. Then I include here this red sentence, and now this is this version with the red sentence, with the answer to my specific question in the document, and ask ChatGPT or GPT-4 the same specific question. And then, finally, I provide ChatGPT in a new session, we delete cache everything, in my one-shot prompt with only the answer sentence to my query prompt that I inputted in GPT-4. And we ask the same specific question. So we will see if it is necessary to encode here, or if any encoding happens, do I have to provide the whole document or not? So here I go. I say, hey, ChatGPT 3.5 only. Does the insurance plan of the company Flying Eyes include hearing aids? So, Flying Eyes I invented. There's no insurance plan. So what will be the answer? I don't have real-time information. I'm not aware of any specific insurance plan of the company Flying Eyes. This is great. So, now comes the interesting part. So, and here we go now. I say, does the insurance plan of the company Flying Eyes include hearing aids? Given that I provide you with new information about its specific insurance plan. And then comes the complete insurance plan, but you see, it is not here life insurance, vision insurance, life insurance, disability. It is without hearing aids. So what is the answer? Based on information provided about the Flying Eyes insurance plan, it does not explicitly mention covering for hearing aids. The plan details various aspects of healthcare coverage. Yes, yes, yes. The specific inclusion or exclusion of hearing aids is not mentioned. Beautiful. So we have now the complete document provided in, if you want here, a one-shot prompt. We give them here the complete map, the complete insurance plan of our fictitious company Flying Eyes, and we get the answer. It is not included. So what do we do now? I just copy this. Does the insurance plan, yeah, information. I said, okay. So Now I've given it the information that it is included. Where is it? Hearing aids, here. We offer financial support given our employee is 55 years or older. So this is the only piece of information in the whole document, and ChatGPT comes back. Thank you for providing the updated information. According to the new information you provided, the plan does offer financial support for hearing aids, but only for employees who are 55 years or older. So you see, now it is included. Isn't that great? You know what I do now? I still copy this one. I say, hey, let's start a new chat. Delete cache, everything, restart GPT 3.5. I say, does the insurance plan of the company flying a hearing aid given that I provide you with? Now I can say again, new information about. And now you're not gonna believe this. Now I only include the relevant sentence. So not the whole document, only one sentence, less than, I don't know, 50 tokens. And now ChatGPT comes back. Based on the new information provided, the insurance plan of the company Flying Eyes does offer financial support for hearing aids for employees who are 55 years or older. So you see, I did not have to put in the whole document, just the relevant part that provide an answer to my query prompt. Why? Why do I do this? There's one piece of information that is important to understand. The sole purpose of a normal common vector database system or a vector store. Now I know they are open source and they are very elaborate, very expensive databases. I'm talking here about a standard, normal, not with some extra extension, the normal vector database system, the normal vector store. Its sole purpose is to provide new and relevant information to ChatGPT or GPT-4, given a specific user query in the prompt. So we have a query. We ask ChatGPT something. It is not integrated and it's pre-trained and fine-tuned training data set. And the question is, how does it happen? Do I have a vector representation like the viewer asked in his comment to my video? So again, what we learned, we know it's probability based. And whatever answer we get back, it is not a reproducible answer. It is not a law of nature where you can take an apple and let it fall down to the earth and you know there's gravitation. Sometimes with GPT systems, you will find out there's no gravitation. And sometimes with GPT systems, you will get an answer back, there's an anti-gravitation working. It is not reproducible. It is a probability-based system. It is not anything at all that it is reproducible, that it has a ground truth, that it is an experiment you can repeat, like in physics, 100,000 times on the planet Earth, and you will get the same result. This is not gonna happen. So, some viewers say, hey, what is the statement of ChatGPT about this? So here's the statement of ChatGPT. It is important to note that my responses are generated based on probabilities and statistical patterns, and not on real-time information or having personal experiences. Of course not. This is a probability machine. And this is also the problem if you use ChatGPT now in the medical sector or in the medical application. It works with probabilities. But more about this in a later video. So beautiful. So this is now the question of my viewer. This is what we set out to answer. Let's make it a little bit clearer. So here is now the second part, the main part of his question. And I would like to indicate what is maybe the misunderstanding, because we can learn a lot of this. So he or she said, we would need to upload all of the papers into GPT-4. Now we know, no. In the augmented prompt to ChatGPT, after we have done everything with the vector database, everything with the vector store, everything with another solution, in the augmented prompt to ChatGPT is only the relevant data to answer the query of the user that asked GPT for an answer. And this relevant data can be just one sentence, maybe less than 100 tokens, maybe a paragraph with 500 tokens, but never exceeding 32K tokens. So next, and hope that it's representation, so the representation of all of my documents. Now we learned there is no representation going into the augmented prompt to ChatGPT. There's no vector representation. The communication between the subsystem is in plain English. It is called a language model. So whatever the system feeds back to the augmented prompt is in English sentences. And then last part, these representations that are not existent match your own system's tokenized representation. Now, any output of my system, if I use now a sentence transformer and I focus here on a sequence of words that is in sentences, is in English sentences. So any system that you have does not output vectorized data. It outputs English sentences because this output will be the input to a language model. And a language model understands English language sentences and English words. That is the whole point. So you see, this is now the clarification regarding the question of this viewer. Let me show you an example. Here is a beautiful video by Microsoft Mechanics, the official Microsoft video, and it is about can ChatGPT work with your enterprise data. And your enterprise data here are assumed is not uploaded to GPT-4, but you want as a company for all your 300 employees that they can use ChatGPT to get some nice chatty answers back if they put in a query, a question to ChatGPT regarding the enterprise policy, the enterprise healthcare plan, whatever. So how do you do this? If you have your, let's say, private enterprise data in hundreds of documents, but you want to give your employees ChatGPT, and ChatGPT should answer in the correct way and form about your policy that you have in your enterprise. Let's have a look at this.
The answer.
Yeah,
when I click on this light bulb, I can see the process it went through to provide a response. Here, we can see that GPT first takes the chat history and the last question to produce a good search query. You can also see the rest of the prompt.
So let me stop here. You see, this is now inside of ChatGPT. This is the prompt, the augmented prompt that comes back after the cognitive search by Azure has been done. So the prompt says, hey, ChatGPT, you are an assistant to help the company employees with their healthcare plan question. Be brief, answer only with the facts listed in the list of sources below. And now you have your sources, your sentences that are the solution that answer your query. And you see here, there's a document and it is, not one sentence, but a paragraph. Beautiful. And in this paragraph, and in only this paragraph, you find the solution to the query you had in your prompt. So this is really now from Microsoft that hosts GPT-4, and they host here this vector database, this cognitive search, this Postgres SQL. They have it, and you see here in their documentation what the augmented prompt after the cognitive search is. You say, hey, answer this but only used the sources below. And now you have here one paragraph of 1 or 2 documents. This is it. Not 100 documents are read in. Nonsense. And it is in plain English. There's no representation, no vector embedding, nothing. It is a language model. Beautiful. Okay, so beautiful. Let's summarize. Where did the conceptual misunderstanding happen? Now, I think it is focused on the semantic search agenda. So, to perform a semantic search, and not just a TF-IDF index search like I showed you in my last video, on my enterprise documents, the system uses the mathematical function of a cosine similarity on vector objects in a constructed specific vector space, where my vector embeddings have been calculated to respect similar semantic content of my sentences. Now, it is the function of the vector database to provide now corresponding vector representation for any text that you input. And normally the plugin performs the cosine similarity function, like this happens in OpenAI's retrieval plugin, to extract now the relevant information from all the enterprise documents and come back with the necessary information to answer the user query to ChatGPT. And let me stress this again. In all of ChatGPT prompt design and prompt engineering, we use English sentences. It's a language model that we are interacting. This is the pure soul beauty of ChatGPT. We do not have to code anything. So, don't let you be surprised with maybe complexity of vector representation and embeddings you can buy and different embeddings you can buy. Just focus on the simple understanding. And I hope this answered your question. And yes, we are done. This is the last slide. I hope it was informative. I hope this is an answer that provides some insight to my viewer. So I say thank you, and I hope to see you in my next video.